And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with the DreamHack Opens $250,000 tournament for the EU region here today. It's Monster D-Face and Fallout bringing all of the action. And if you guys have not been watching the show, I encourage you guys rewind and get caught up because it has been a fantastic set of games so far. On your screen right now is the highlights of the final moments, and we've had quite a turn of the events. Marine coming up from the back portion of the tournament, the back heels, and all of a sudden now in contention for top 3. Fallout. We're jumping into the last game. Take me through it.
Yes, sir. We're going to run this one back for sure, whether it's a VOD review, any of you that are watching, make sure you rewatch this tournament because from start to finish, it has been absolutely insane. I've loved every bit of the gameplay so far. The late story of Medine working his way up the leaderboards from not even being in top 20 to now being in top 3, knocking on the door of a top 1 finish. But guess what? We're going to have Mr. Savage, who has something to say about that. He's currently sitting in second. He's been holding to the first place spot for the majority of the tournament until Teak came out of absolutely nowhere. So let us know, chat, who do you want to win it? Teak, Mr. Savage, do you want the Medine Cinderella story to come through? The DreamHack back-to-back champion of Mr. Savage, or Medine, our winner of DreamHack Winter Open? Either way, both of these two have shown up.
All right, I'm going to start it up. Spam the lime to help out Marine, or spam the cabbage to help out Savage. Either way, we're going to want to see some chanting in the chat because we want to know who you guys are rooting for. It's been a phenomenal DreamHack. We're going to continue this as things go. Go ahead.
I got to be honest with you, man. Who likes cabbage? I don't think there's anyone in this entire chat that likes cabbage. So, clearly the lime for Medine is the way to go, or we got to get something for Teak, too. We got to show Teak some love.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that rhymes with Teak. I got leak. I got weak. I got
fleek.
All right.
Eyebrows on fleek.
Enough of that. It's the last game. Let's get serious here. It's the Steptos, though, a top 10 competitor right now who's in a world of trouble here, and he's going to get taken out by Bad Sniper over at the Fortilla. This has been a fight that's been going on over and over. We talk about 4 players that were consistently landing over at the Fortilla and having trouble with one another. Look at how much differently Savage is playing his early game right now, being passive in the final game because he cannot let this opportunity slip away from him. He's also behind now, like you mentioned at the start, Fallout.
Yeah, it's a good call out. It's unfortunate for Deciptos right there. Bad Sniper, one of our double qualifiers alongside a few others who have made it to a variety, both our NA East and our European finals. Bad Sniper, Snazy of Grizzy, so 2 of them. FaZe Mongrel, Tayson, Mr. Savage, Muhammad, and Benji Fishy. You'll have a chance to watch a lot more of them. This isn't it for Mr. Savage. He'll be playing in NA East after this. We, of course, have to preview that and highlight that, but it all comes down to this game. The European finals have been nuts. We also got Sebi on screen right now, who got eliminated early last game and was in the top 3 consistently all day, now sitting in top 7.
Oh, he's got a strong loadout. He also has a good idea of where this player is. Notice the pre-aim and fire that he was about to put down right there. The silent crouching from Jet is going to allow him to just sneak away. Sebi, another person whose heart must be in his stomach right now as he's, again, surrounded by enemies here. He does not have Kit's loadout secured just yet, so playing it passive, playing it slow. He's got to be careful, though. His head is definitely available to Jet from up above on the right here. Little does he know, okay, Jet's actually backing up. Oh, he's going back around for the high ground, so just peeking in, giving you guys an idea of how intense this is for some of the players. Here's Bafo over on the other side now, just getting this little farm on just outside of Steamy Stacks. Players that he might be coming across would be players like Janice or Tayson that are playing that Steamy Stacks portion.
Yep.
I have another up here on the mountain, though, Fallout.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the two, either Janice or Tayson at the bottom right of the minimap right now on screen. KS1 Light gets taken out. He was kind of a hero from yesterday who started to show up and perform in a big way. Bafo hasn't had the best day. Currently in a 1-versus-1 against Claven, but we're going to jump back on board with Bad Sniper over back towards the Fortilla right now. Not sure who got the loot over here, who was leaving with Ocean's kit. But we got a few folks. Lenoof, our #1 first place finisher of European Heat #1 on Friday of Athletics. Athletics is showing up good. They have 2 players competing in this. A few of our organizations, Grizzy has shown up as well, Wave, and a few others.
Let's not forget, guys, this is a $250,000 game for some here. So there is a lot riding on the line. Prizing up in the air will be divvied out according to how players perform this time around. This could be a huge victory royale worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Not only that, the crown for the DreamHack Opens 2020 here. This is a ridiculous day of competition. Bad Sniper, like we said, has already played spoiler for 1. He's looking to come back in and take out Lanouf here, though. Lanouf was on the rise as well, having quite a decent track going for him for a second there. So now to see both the perspectives here. He's on fire right now, but he's hearing Bad Sniper come in. Bad Sniper wants a piece of this. This is a very, very awkward place to fight. Yes, Lanouf understands that. He goes up to the next layer.
Yeah, Lanouf and Bad Sniper both around the top 40-ish range, so they're trying to crack their way and guarantee that top 30, which is $1,000 guaranteed for playing Fortnite. Not too bad for these two, but it's gonna be a big fight between the two of them. Bad Sniper and Lanouf, both on screen right now. See who wins this 1v, or will they both decide to back out? Both are the two individuals coming from France. So battle of the countrymen here.
This is a thing, right? This is a $1,000 fight right here. For some, you know, it's worth tens of thousands, but this is a $1,000 fight right here. Let's see who's gonna win, and Bad Sniper's gonna be the one who gets taken out, and Lanouf secures his way one step closer to earning more money and staying into that top 30 at the very least so far. Well played for him as he finds himself 2 elims already at the Fortilla.
Lanouf says, "What do you think you're doing, boy, pushing me?" Bad Sniper is the one that played with aggression there, ended up getting taken out, ended up costing him, as we have a shark chilling, by the way. Shark attack and shark spotted on screen, in case you're wondering. Reason going to take out Arso at the top of your screen. Keep in mind, a couple things that also happened. Godsense Wakey got taken out, so unfortunate for him. I know he's kind of knocking on the door, top 30 as well. He's out of this one. This is the last game, number 8. For those of you that maybe just joining, Fallout here, joining alongside Monster D-Face. By the way, my man, it's been a pleasure casting alongside you. I've enjoyed it every step of the way, and most importantly, it's because the players are delivering. Steelix gets taken out by Nikov, but it's been an insane tournament so far.
It really has. It really, really has. I mean, like I said at the start of the show yesterday, I'm going to reiterate, guys, this is the first look at high-tier solo competition. We're getting a whack at casting here, which I'm excited for because the map changes have really gone in a good direction. The water, you know, now lowering itself onto the map, more POIs being revealed here. Not only that, the crash pads being played at high levels are just becoming more and more meta, right? Jumping into boxes with these things, the rotations that you can do. It's actually ridiculous. Someone, though, who does not want to go down right now, he's near top 10, is Castery. It's Mr. J who's on the backside. I wonder if he is going to splash. Yeah, he is.
And now he actually is back and has the heal advantage. This could be lethal, though. He has a couple minis to his name still as well in case he gets tagged again. It's a big 1v1. This is a money 1v1 and box fight here. You've done a million box fights in your career, Castery, but I don't know how many box fights you've done for a couple $1,000s here. This could make the difference. Castery versus Mr. J. It looks like for now, things are pretty even. There you go.
Castery is insane. Like I said, wasn't sure how he was going to do in Grand Finals Day, but he really has put on quite a great show so far and a good performance just in general. Now at 191 points, very, very much in contention for breaking into top 10. This is a prestigious moment for all these guys, especially someone like Castery, who's been just rising, right? As a player, as a solo player.
Yeah, that's exactly right. One thing I will say is kind of unfortunate for Castery is top 12, the threshold going into this game was 205. Top 10 was 221. So Castery's quite a bit behind that. He did not have a good game number 7. So he'll only have to have a great game number 8 if he wants to break into that top 10 mold. We've
seen that happen over and over, especially with players like Anas, who had such a ridiculous swing in points earlier today. Even players like Teak now, who have that 50-plus point lead, I believe. Sebi, though, who was shut down in the last game, is forced to kind of back up here. Here's Doko looking to jump into the mix just a bit. He does have those thinkers, though, can flush a player out of the box. And Doko's trying to phase his way right through the top. Sebi's going to open up the door, though. Opens up the trap hole here to try to see if he can let him into the base. No, Doko's going to come on down. In comes the edits. In comes the shots. This is not looking too good for Sebi. He's going to have to splash here, but the player's in the box. Oh, no. Doko gets hit, though. And all the shots are going to connect when Sebi needed it most. He's going to look to fully complete it. Can he get it? Yes, he is. Not before the third part lands a couple extra shots. So Sebi barely, by the skin of his teeth, stays alive in the competition.
That is massive for Sebi. His back was against the wall. Third parties were looming. Well, guess what? The third party's not done yet. Luckily for Sebi, there's actually a fourth person in the mix here. He'll have a chance to reset just for now. Doko should have won that fight, had the advantage, but Sebi clutched up. Brilliant box fighting and box play. Great edits coming through from Sebi when he was low in HP, but he's not done yet.
Here it is. What you're looking at in the bottom right corner is Andretta and Sebi here. 2 perspectives. Like we said before, Andretta really picked up some points in the previous game, finding 2 snipes onto Rax and Chapix there. 10-point swing in his favor, and then made some placements to go along with it. So not too bad of a game 7, but for the final running now, can Andretta find his way all the way up to the top? Will he be able to secure some more points? He sees a little bit of a Marauder pack, I believe, there. Takes a couple open shots. Now moving on. Back to Sebi, though, who's looking to pick up some loot from the player that he didn't counter onto before. And my gosh, what a come up. It's going to be some big pots to pop off for now to cap him off. And, of course, some loot to make sure that he's well and padded here. So we're looking at another potential Eastern Frenzy Zone-ish endgame.
Yeah, we just saw Refsguard on screen. I believe his duo Scram is in the area as well. So we've seen 2 Frenzy finishes. I know I mentioned it a couple times, but I'm a fan of the flat Frenzy finish. You don't have to worry too much about traversing a mountain to stay alive. Instead, very, very flat ground in this area. We'll see where this circle ends up closing out. Snazy on screen right now. Snazy's definitely in the contention in 5th place with 286 points. So a player that we have not talked enough about, as Snazy and Deciptos from France are both 286, 283, 5th and 6th, tied with Kami, who has 286 points as well. Snazy is certainly in the running here for potential top 2, top 3 finish.
Now, I do see Marine as well, still alive right here, like you mentioned, but players that I do want to know, if the Obs is listening in, where's Teak? Where's Mr. Savage? Where's the players in top 10? Because things are getting closer and closer. We really want to keep a close tabs, even if it means we're just hopping in to see what's up. So I'm looking at that feed right now, and I'm praying that they do not fall, because right now we have a neck-and-neck race, neck-and-neck competition going down right now for who's going to be the DreamHack champ. Snazy is very much in there. We haven't given him enough credit, but he's been slipping through the cracks, still relevance, and in recent times, the consistency paying off now, pushing him up slowly and slowly.
Quick update, our 8th place player, it's Sebi, just got eliminated by Refsguard, our player that we interviewed yesterday. So a strong showing from Refsguard yesterday. He hasn't shown up too much today, but he's going to end the day for Sebi, who is currently in 8th, and you got to think he might slip outside of that top 10.
Sebi, though, did have a valiant effort the last 2 games. Unfortunately,
great
finally,
showing.
yeah, just slip away from him. Those kind of things are going to happen. And this is why we mentioned playing Fortnite at high caliber is not easy, not by any means, especially staying consistent. Look at how dense the lobby is right now and how no one's moving. These are all players that want to snag that placement. Yeah,
one player, if you're keeping an eye on the elimination feed, is Reason. Is we know he, maybe hasn't had a great day, but we know his caliber. If we talk about players that could potentially ruin the days of other players, Reason is, in my eyes, number 1 on that list. While he might not be in contention for a 1st place finish, he is certainly someone that you have to keep an eye out for in that elimination feed, as he's taken out 2. Meanwhile, Snazy's going to take out Janice, a big elimination on Janice, who is our reigning champion for FNCS. He's been playing incredibly well. Here's Reason over in Salty Springs.
4 elims. You just talked about someone playing spoiler. Yeah, Reason right here with 4 elims. Same thing like Wolfie's. Wolfie's catching a Nos with the snipe earlier was ridiculous. So Reason now really turning up here. I mean, we spoke about him all day today, finding his bearings in the early game. He's just been struggling getting past this mid-session into the lates. I think a little too aggressive possibly this time around, but it's A-okay as he's still trying to make his way up.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I was mentioning, is the spoilers is Reason. And honestly, if you take another 8-game series, start from scratch again tomorrow, I think Reason's in the top 10. I just think it maybe wasn't his day, but from a skill level perspective, a performance perspective, I really do think highly of his individual play. Had a couple of unfortunate fights. I know he lost one at Holly Hedges, but you have to put some respect on Reason's name, as he's been a top performer throughout. A lot of our German players in general that we were talking about, Germany, stand up. But Germany showed up in a great way yesterday. Nowhere to be found now in the top 12, as a few of our German players haven't necessarily shown up here on Sunday.
Let's see. The body shot from Reason is going to connect there. Big 91. And a follow-up to someone else who he's not going to connect there. It could be Magra off in the distance. Remember, we did see him playing that authority area.
Yeah, Benji's nearby too. And guess
another
what?
Body shot.
Yeah, he's another one. It's Tomsy right next to Benji. So can it be Tomsy again? The battle of the not-so-united kingdom, with Benji from England and, of course, Tomsy from Wales. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, Resin's getting himself in a box fight. Dude needs to be scary. He needs to be scared here as he gets himself stuck in a one-on-one. But he comes out on top again. Reason with 5 eliminations, and he's not done yet.
And that time it was on to Chili, taking him out. Now he's going to backtrack here to the launch pad here, try to get out. But yes, like I said, Magro was back here in the Authority. It turns out he was actually still in the zone, probably looting up the Volt finally. Looking to kind of play it nice and slow there. So Magro's still in the game here. Only 100 points for the legend himself.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Another one of those players that if you restart over again, another 8 games, you're going to see Mongrel on top. Just an unfortunate showing for him. But we'll keep an eye out. Meanwhile, he's going to get tagged up quite a bit. We're going to keep an eye on our top 10 players, though. Of course, if you see the names Kami, Medine, Mr. Savage, Teak, Anas, Toos, Benji Fishy, you better keep an eye out, as that might make a difference. Mongrel, though, going to have his way in this 1v1. That really won't affect the scoreboard too much.
Yeah, definitely won't. Not too much, at least. The player he took out was Larry there, who's not doing too hot in the competition, but still must feel nice to pad the ego a bit here as we're approaching closer to the end. You see Benji just across the water here. And Mongo's got a long rotate. Yeah, I like what he's doing here. He's looking to cut all the way around. He doesn't want to cross past those others in front. Take a look at the distance that you can pull here on the grappler. So good for him. And even now, he can continue to get deeper and deeper if he really wants to, but instead he's going to crank up just a bit. Trying to look around here, bide some time, wait the seconds out, and see where the next zone's going to pull. It's going to be right.
5 players left in this one. We all know game number 8 is when people are playing a little more aggressive. That's why Reason has 5 limbs are ready. Scram, again, we talked about earlier, the duo of Refsguard is currently in a situation with Breezy. Now on board with Mongrel, back on board with Teak. Teak, a player that I cannot speak less highly of. He's an unbelievable story. 250th place, just snuck into this competition after barely qualifying in Heat 2. Not Heat 1, but Heat 2 on Friday. Now he is just moments away from being a champion as long as he can stay alive here.
That's the question. Can he make another end game? He's been so consistent today. Gonna have to hit the drawing board on how his game's unfolded. I don't even know where this man's landing. I just completely slipped. We've only been really tuned in with him come to these end games when it really matters most. So early game action hasn't been too much for him. As you can see, 0 elims for Teak. Names that are still seeing here that are relevant though: Snazzy in the game and Marine on Hyatt.
I believe he's landing in some of the houses northwest of Steamy, which is why he's had some success with some of these Frenzy Farm finishes. It's not a crazy rotation for him, but I'm not 100% positive because we haven't seen it on screen. If the research is correct, then I think that's where he might be landing. On board with Teak right now, 0 limbs for him. It doesn't even matter. His goal is to stay alive. He just needs to make it to late game here. Again, it's his tournament to lose right now. He has a significant advantage in the form of 70 points over Mr. Savage. If he can just get placement points, he is your DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite champion. Can he do it?
And he's fighting back. He doesn't have to, but he really is. He's putting up some dominant, pressure out there. He's firing that SMGs, opening up edits, all of which can lead to him exposing himself. Another player is doing the complete opposite. Savage is like, hey, listen, I'm just going to be the puppy in the window, looking outside, all right? I'm not going to do anything risky. He's just hanging out, gathering info, not trying to throw this competition by any means. He needs to make an end game, like absolutely needs it. The player that he's looking at, by the way, is his biggest competitor, his biggest threat, Cammy, who's just, neck and neck, neighbor and neighbor with him.
Yeah. Medine, Kami, and Snazy, all with 286 points. Deceptos right behind with 283. 4 players are separated by 3 points. 3 of them separated by 0 points at the same 286 mark.
My God.
Any of those players can sneak into a top 2 here.
So this is going to come down to the wire here. Placements, elims, everything. Teak's still alive, though. You can see him moving around right here. He's just on the outside of the base of Toos. Toos has been on a pretty good rampage today. He's in top 20, if I'm not mistaken here. Looks like Toos is getting a little proactive on the builds there, as Mr. Savage is also getting into a bit of a fight as well. Oh, no, never mind.
I love this view. Picture in picture here. We got number 1 and number 2. Teak at the bottom right, Mr. Savage at the top right on screen. Savage in a decent position. Teak scared for his life. But the person that's above him is getting third party. Not anymore, though. Here comes a fight. This could spell danger, but guess what? The third party's there. He connects for 1, hits him for whites, but needs to be careful for the third party. This could be absolutely dangerous. Drops a crash pad, I think, but misses it. Or
he's
someone
just
else.
doing whatever. He's doing whatever he has to do to not engage into that, to not fully commit. There was a play that landed right on him. He does get the white tags. Lucky for him. That was nearly an Elim that converted for him. But yes, he's going to go in now for the opponent here. He gets the extra mats, and now he's going to be able to recycle this pad here. He picks up the bandage as well, which might come in handy a little later. But all right, he does manage to stay alive in first place. Remember, now placement points being divvied out. No, Tika's going to get beamed down to barely an HP. Looks like he had a little bit of a slow glide of blood there. And no, Benji's going to meet him with the pump. Bye-bye, Teak. But he had a 60-point cushion between him and Mr. Savage. Will it be enough?
Wow, who is it? None other than Benji Fishy, the King Slayer, takes out number 1, opening up a door wide open for Mr. Savage, for Medine, Kami, Snazy, maybe Deciptos to take that first place spot. Of course, a 60-point cushion, as you said. But with Mr. Savage, Kami both still alive, I believe Medine alive, Benji in 10th with 221, you gotta wonder how this is gonna finish.
He needs Mr. Savage to not have a great game, and that's hard to ask considering how phenomenal Savage has been playing today, especially when he makes it this far into the game. Not only that, they're on land, so it's none of that weird kind of, water zones to play with. This is a very fair zone that we're looking at right now. Okay, but with Benji Fishy here.
Yeah, you know what happened is then that watching the replay back, I think Teak tried so hard to land on that crash pad to get a better rotation, got a little bit greedy, and that cost him because Benji was able to get a few AR shots on him before finishing him up with the shotgun, tactical shotgun, to be precise. So that is a costly mistake. Might be an $8,000 costly mistake for Teak. And all he can do is watch as we now still have Medine alive in this one. We have Kami alive, Mr. Savage on screen as well. What a finish in game number 8 for what has already been a crazy tournament is going to have an even crazier finish.
And I love this fight right here because Mirai needs the Elims if he wants to take first place. He wants to snatch it even from Mr. Savage's placement as well. And yes, that's going to be a big one for him right there. Another knock. But now, placement points. Remember, this is Mr. Savage right here. 330 on the point threshold. Savage also needs to start getting cooking. And yes, he is also looking to close the gap here. It's not going to be given away for free, but closer and closer as they approach endgame, it's happening. More placement is being divvied out. Look at Mariah up top, moving, getting in these cones. We've seen it over and over, but again, he does not have any material. Mariah's gonna need such a frag right now. He's playing the zone here, trying to wait, and the zone's actually gonna favor him. Talk about a gutsy wait out, and it actually works here as Savage finds another Elim in the low ground. This is probably looking like the victory lap for Mr. Savage Fallout.
A crazy finish, and let's just set the stage here. A top 3 finish in this game for Mr. Savage should be enough in placement point to win it. However, he's going to be put in a pretty bad spot here, stuck in the storm, has to rotate out using those crash pads, has to heal up. Thank goodness he has some floppers, but you got to wonder, can he get taken out here on the rotate? No, someone's right behind him. It's Castery looking to end his day.
He's on peppers though, so he's moving so quick here. He's going to pop another one right now. So this is it. Now that he's got the movement going in his favor, all he has to do is survive at this point and not get taken out. Little by little, he needs a siphon so bad. Mr. Savage, can he do it? Can he find something? He finds Haijo with the big shot right there. And now the decision, does he jump in for the material or not? He's not going to go for it. He's going to continue to just bridge his way in. More points being divvied out.
Mr. Savage is 6 points behind where Teak was to start this game. We don't know how many placement points Teak got, but he may have gotten a few. We will see. Mr. Savage controlling his own fate with a Game 8 performance for the ages. 3 eliminations and counting as Mr. Savage is right below a few more. Can get a quick peekaboo type of shot as we still have quite a few people, 11 players to close this game out. Castery alive, Benji Fishy in this one as well. The duo, the teammates in Benji and Mr. Savage both alive.
With every player that drops here, Savage gets closer and closer to being a back-to-back DreamHack champion. Will it happen? Here's Nikov on the bottom perspective, though. Still alive. He's so many threats nearby. Artor is the player that's up above him. Here's Castery. A little bit of a karma shot towards Castery. Does find a blue, but it's not going to be enough. Another battle going up atop. Remember, he just wants to get into anything. Only 3 builds left for Mr. Savage here. Pops the last pepper, and now he's jumping in. Benji Fishy versus Mr. Savage. Is he gonna find a shot? And no, he gets taken out. 368. We don't know if that's gonna be enough, but it's so close. It could be 1 point. It could be 1 point shy. It could be 1 over. That is gonna be the story here. Benji with the crash pad now. He has to clutch up. Benji's going to get taken out. Nikov is going to be the one who catches him. And here, Nikov is tearing it up. Another one. It's Artar who falls here. 3 players remain now. Fall out. It's Ref's guard on height. And no longer is he in the game. Taston's on low.
Unbelievable. It is Vitality's very own Nikov. Viva la Francais, as Nikov ends the day for Benji and a few more. Now, it is Refsguard with 3 mythic items to his name. The gentleman who we interviewed just yesterday versus Tayson. Tayson, we know, is within the top 11, in 11th place coming into this one. Refsguard does have a shockwave launcher from Kit. He has a charged shotgun as well, and you gotta think he has the game here.
Oh my gosh, here it is.
The limb. Can he connect? Almost there. One more shot, and that's gonna be it. Refsguard is gonna do it. A victory royale to close out game number 8. What a finish. I am biting my fingers in suspense to see who will be our champion of the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite. A crazy finish. We are going to calculate the scores and bring Kelly back on to break it all down right after this.
What an insane finish there. The European Grand Finals for our kickoff week, week number 1 here at the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite is done, and it does go to the way of Teak there. But Mr. Savage only 5 points behind. That's 1 elimination that would have kept him from tying with Teak for first place. But it is Teak that's going to be walking away with $16,000. Not too shabby, I must say.
No, not at all. I mean, still a crazy performance. You talk about game 7, honestly 6, 7 into 8. We just had such a close running. Fall and I were following the action so closely, trying to, keep tabs on the leaderboard. Dude, Did you like believe right then and there that Savage was going to take it away, Fallout? It was so close, man.
1000%. He had all the momentum in the world. He had all the energy behind him. He's performing. He's hitting shots. And the fact that one elim across any of the 8 games, as Kelly mentioned, would have made the difference. It's crazy to think, Monster. I'm right there with you, Matt. I thought Savage was going to run away with it. I thought we were going to have a Cinderella story and a crazy finish to what has been a crazy tournament.
Yeah, well, let's take a quick look at the highlights that we saw from that last game. I'm sure you guys are going to want to have to talk about what happened there and how exactly Teak was able to take the advantage over Savage.
I mean, one thing to think about, we talk about the story of a champion, someone who came barely qualifying in through Heat 2 to then take home the entire tournament and competition. Just goes to show you that Fortnite players at the highest caliber, we're talking that 0.001%, they're that good. It just has to be a matter of, is it your day? Or is it not your day, right? And that's what we saw today. Someone whose day is always is, though, seems to be, is Mr. Savage, man. Mr. Savage was honestly the most consistent this weekend. Played so well today, just across the board, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, definitely have to give shout outs there to Mr. Savage. He has the highest average elims out of everyone that competed today and the highest overall eliminations, if I'm not mistaken, with 24 eliminations for the day there. The next highest one, I believe, is 15 kills or 18 kills we have there with Sebi. But as you said, man, Fallout, this is something that you've been saying, that Teak in the last heat for Europe was 250th. He was literally the last place. And to go all the way from Friday into the semifinals yesterday and to win the whole thing, it doesn't get better than that.
That's so true. I mean, I said Cinderella story, but that is the Cinderella story, right? Teak barely. I mean, one limb in his qualifying round, which we, again, Monster talks about it, and we talk about it often. The skill gap in Fortnite is insane. I love an open qualifier tournament like this because you get to see the giant skill gap between these top 100, top tier echelon players versus the other of the 400,000 players that tried qualifying on Friday, all the way to the top of the top, the best of the best, who's going to show up on Sunday. And in the end, Teak barely squeaked through, but he was able to improve every single day, have a better placement, a better performance. And in the end, he is going to be your champion. It's a crazy finish, a crazy story for Teak. And I love that we have our third DreamHack champion that we get to now talk about.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scoreboard to see, because obviously we're talking a lot about Teak, we're talking a lot about Mr. Savage, but there was tons of players here, and all of them are going to be walking away with some cash and playing Fortnite over the weekend, getting some money. Even if you don't place top 20, that's pretty good. But here are our top 20. As we've been saying, Teak is your champion for Europe in our kickoff week. Mr. Savage is taking second. We have Sneezy in third, Kami in fourth, and then Marine, the player that really came from behind, is taking fifth.
It's actually ridiculous to see Marine come in top 5 right now. Just such a phenomenal comeback story, really making it so interesting for all of us. We got to give credit to everyone here in the top 20, even Benji Fishy with his comeback story. If he would have just been off to a stronger start, we'd very much see him up there amongst the top 5. Tayson, Deceptos, and Nos, who fizzled out towards the end. Take a look at Tus, Sebi, Nikov, Castery, who did really good, 13 places. Huge considering that he hasn't had a great grand finals yet. Artur, Kinzel, a lot of our veterans here in the last few to kind of fizzle out there.
Yeah, that's a good call out. You hit the nail on the head. I think Benji's comeback was a great one. Was outside of top 20, and then consistent finish is what mattered the most to get 6th. And then a couple more. Trulex was a player that played very consistent all weekend, took 4th in his heat, and then ended up getting a top 20 finish here in this one. A great story as well. Congratulations to all of our players. Placing in top 20 is a great feat. Placing in the top 100 is as well, which is why you're going to go home with at least $300, even if you got in that 99th or 100th place spot.
Yeah, and obviously congratulate and thank you to all the players that entered, and thank you to all the viewers that have been watching. But it hasn't just been one game that we've had. We've had 8 games today, 5.5 hours of Fortnite action. Let's actually take a look at all the highlights that we saw throughout the day.
Yeah, it was I kept making the reference to a montage, because I'll tell you right now, the DreamHack Open montage will be lit with the amount of shots that we had. You'll see them here in these highlights throughout. So many great snipes, hunting rifle plays, a couple good flicks with the charged shotgun, Strawberry right there. But man, Monster, talk to us a little about some of the plays that you've seen so far. I think this is one of the best ones. Mid-air hunting rifle shot to connect at the very beginning of the round.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at a lot of the clip it and ship it moments here. It's definitely with Kikos. That's a staple moment of the competition today, really kicking things off for us on a high kind of tail here. And this is the 4-piece chicken nugget that we saw picked up by just a no name here. Would love to get this title off for him. Give him some proper respects, but the end game between Teak and Anas right here. I'm pretty sure it's how that one unfolded. Just showing you guys how Teak has been in those end games. Anas was up there as well, how close it was. So look at your crash pad making its way into competitive Fortnite, of course. Wouldn't be a highlight. Fortnite was some sharks coming in with the grief. On grief right here.
And that was the beautiful wiggle shot right there from Kami over at Nas. What a play that was. Headshot pick through as well. Again, let's let him keep rolling here because it was clip after clip after clip. So many great moments. I really did like I think you said it was a Nas who had the quick shot to close out a 1v1. That was clean as well. But unfortunately for him, this time it was Wolfies that ended his day as he had all of Ocean's kit. He was sitting great in top 4. And I think this was game 5 where he had his day ruined by Wolfies.
And this is where Andretta started making his little turnaround as well, getting his back-to-back snipes on. So a lot of great shots, a lot of crazy moments captured today. That's not even, capturing all of the insane end games we got to call in those mid games, because it got really ridiculous there.
Yeah, I actually want to start with an interview with the player that got the first victory royale of our grand finals. I think we have Sebi in the chat right now. Sebi, are you here?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, Sebi, how's it going, man?
I'm a bit disappointed that my last 3 games I managed almost to get 0 points, basically. And I had a really good start. I was pretty much top 5 the whole tournament up until my last couple of games where I struggled off spawn, and it kind of costed me the top 5 performance that I wanted.
Yeah, and I got a question. I do have a question. Sebi, where are you landing that? Because I know in game 1 you came across the shockwaver and all the mythic loot, but before that, I don't think you had the grenade launcher in your inventory, right?
No, I landed caddy in I think only in 2 games I landed Fortilla, and my other games I landed caddy. I mainly people like to kill the cat off spawn and then they run away with the loot. That's why I didn't have it a lot of the games. I only had it actually in 2 games only. Had the grenade launcher, and the one game was the first one, which was when I won, and then the other one I got I think top 6 with 4 kills or something like that. But yeah, most of the time people the cat either spawns on one side or in my side, so a lot of the times I couldn't get it. But
yeah. And I want to ask you too. As you mentioned some of the later games, and thank you for breaking down the early games in which you were able to get the shockwave launcher. Sometimes you could, sometimes you couldn't. We caught you in a few of the later game scenarios. We missed a few of them where you got eliminated. What was happening? The one that we did see, it was just unfortunate. You got third partied. It was just a lot of aggression and W keying coming in. Outside of that, what happened those last 3 games? What didn't work out well for you?
So one of my last games, I thought people were gonna hot drop caddy because they want to get a pop off game and place in the high top 10, etc. But people just didn't switch the drops, and I thought people were gonna land caddy, so I backed off to my backup drop. It was Fortilla, and there was 5 people already landing there, so I got killed off spawn. And then another game, I managed to win my fight at my building, and I actually got the god loot in Fortilla. And rotating out of Fortilla, I got caught by Anas, and I got beamed for 150 damage, and I got W key.
Yep.
And in that game, I think Anas later on got actually headshotted with my
by Wolfies.
We caught that was one on stream. My heart dropped to the floor. I felt so bad for you, man. It's unfortunate in that scenario.
That's what I was gonna say. I was so shocked because I was sure you was landing at caddy, and then we saw you at Fortilla. I was like, wait a second. We're seeing a lot of people switch up the drops. I think Hardfind pulled one that game. Castery pulled up a little bit of a different drop that game. So that's kind of crazy. I did have a question. In your last 3 games, you said you didn't quite catch your footing. Obviously, the final one you landed Fortilla. Before that, were you still landing at Caddy's corner for game 7 and 6?
No, game 7 and 6 were the games I landed for Fortilla, and then my last game I actually full sent Caddy because everybody that I was trying to land there probably wouldn't have as much of a drop that I would have. People that I had experience, and I thought I was gonna maybe get some quick kills, but the guy insta killed the cat and just ran away. So since I was gonna get anything out of it, I just disengaged, and I got caught in a fight with Doko in the Frenzy farm, and then I was just farming my mats up in a building, and he was there was a guy hiding behind a wall, and as soon as I broke the wall, he took my wall first try and boxed me, and I died. That was pretty much what happened in my last game.
Oh, man. Unfortunate, man. Well, thank you for breaking down the gameplay. The one question I have and I want to ask is, what's your story, man? I hear you're from Costa Rica. You speak English without an accent. So I'm are you from the States? And now you live in Europe. Real quick, what's your story?
Okay, so find you? I'll try to break it down as fast as I can. I was born in Costa Rica, and I played Fortnite with really high ping. and eventually I convinced my parents to go to the US for like a month or two by the time that was like World Cup, and I had to give myself a chance. And since I made some money in World Cup, my parents supported me to go again and do another trip.
Wow.
The money I gained from World Cup, and that was I ended up getting 5th in trios in an A, and then my visa, which I was using at the time, expired like a couple months ago. And so since I wanted to compete and do FNCS on good ping, my dad's half Italian, so I have a passport that lets me go into Italy. So I just
Crazy.
ended up coming
That's
here.
actually incredible.
Yeah,
I love that story, man. It's awesome.
Insane.
You gotta love parents that support you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love my parents. They always supported me from the start, pretty much. Even when I didn't make any money, because at the start, obviously, high paying, you weren't allowed to compete back then because there was the age restriction. And then the World Cup was the first event I competed, and I mean, I did all right. I guess I got enough money to put myself over to another trip. That was
Amazing.
Sebi, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story, and congratulations on placing 11th. I know you said that you're a little disappointed with how those last games goes, but 11th place, you're walking away with $3,300. That's still pretty good. Before I let you go, where can people find you online?
Sebi1x on Twitter, and my Twitch streams are Sebi7. I stream like 3 times a week, and my YouTube is just Sebi. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sebi.
Yep, no problem.
All right.
Have a good rest
Hopefully
of the
we'll
day.
see you next tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, great insight there from one of our top 20 placements, Sebi. And a follow-up, thank you for asking the question of his story, his lineage. I always love it. I know you guys, when you were growing up, it was always the joke that like you can't make a career out of video games. And here we see parents literally traveling around the world to support them.
Yeah, 100%. My Greek parents were like, stop playing video games, start studying. And now look how much has changed in the last 15, 10 years with esports. It's crazy how Fortnite has changed so many lives. And that is a perfect story to show how Fortnite has changed like one young man's life who's competing and pursuing his dream. I love it.
All right, one last time, let's take a look at the scoreboard, everyone, in case you missed it, to see our top 20 placement. 100 entered, 1 is walking away at first place with $16,000, and that is Teak, our champion of Europe.
Such a phenomenal day of games here at Fallout. We got to cast over 8 prestigious games here in the grand finals of DreamHack, and it's just been a wonderful, well-rounded day for the EU finals here in the DreamHack stage.
Yeah, agreed. I loved every single bit of it. The gameplay, first and foremost. The players put on a show. Hope everyone that was watching at home enjoyed it. Enjoyed the cast as well. Monster D-Face. It was a pleasure, man. We were vibing the entire time. I loved it. The DreamHack team, production crew was amazing. But in the end, Teak takes home a championship, is now a DreamHack champion. It's an amazing title that he gets to have alongside Mr. Savage, Medine, and a few others that have had it. Congratulations to Teak.
You know what else is amazing is that we're not done. North American East Grand Finals, we have another 8 games and 100 players, some of them being from Europe, and games that we just saw are going to be going on in about 10 minutes, everyone. So don't go anywhere, guys. This has been an incredible day. Monster D-Face, Fallout, thank you guys so much for joining me here and telling everyone what's going on in the Fortnite games here at the DreamHack Open. Chat, I know you guys are excited for those North American games coming up, so don't go anywhere because they're going to be starting very soon. We'll see you then.